We're in. Oh no, yeah, right. I did a little bit of off-screen stuff, not really much of anything. I got into a group off-screen, so I had my volume all changed down. The funny thing is, I got into a party off-screen, and it wasn't a good party. Like it was a pretty bad party, and it dissolved very shortly after I joined because yeah, I got killed. Like the tank just left, and then they thought it would be a good idea to continue fighting with no tank, with just 5 players and no tank. And yeah, that went about as well as you think it would. Because I pulled aggro because they were dying rapidly, so I had to bust out the big heals, right? Then I get aggro and die. Yay. So honestly, it would have, like, for me, it would have been safer if I just stayed solo. But I'm only 1,000, like, roughly 1,100 away from leveling up. And 25 is a big milestone for White Mage, because then you get invisible. Oh, you get invisible and raise, too. Very important, that raise. Now, did I sell my stuff? I did not. I should have sold my stuff while I was here in town, but it skipped my mind. Skipped my mind. Okay, I still have my EXP ring in effect, so I'm switching out to the Charisma gear. Oh yeah, right, I don't have a neck piece for Charisma. Okay, so I'm all loaded out, ready to go. So yeah, I forcefully had to take the Death Express back to Juneau. That was not great party fun times. All right. So back to the dunes, but before I do, I have a lot of crystals and things to sell. So I figure I'll do that first. I should have done that last night, but I didn't think to. Oh, I still have cotton cloth on the auction house. Cotton cloth has, it's kind of bottomed out a little bit. Now, technically I did craft this cotton cloth. Technically I did. However, the cotton cloth, it was from desynthesis. Like, I desynthesized a bunch of goblin armors, and it's basically free materials, right? So, okay, fire crystals. They are worth. They're over 1,000. That's good. That's real good. Fire crystals tend to bottom out because of people doing EXP parties in Gelspa. Tends to ruin the price. And I see that earth crystals are already down to... Yeah, they're already down to 500 again. For a while, earth crystals were... Like, they were getting up around like 1,000. Like, all the crystals were getting around 1,000. It was great. But I knew that wasn't gonna last. I knew it was not to be. Looks like you can only really get about 400 for the rabbit skins. Now the lizard tails, well, if they sell for 20 each, then that means for like what, 10 of them, that'd be maybe 200. Yeah, so okay, lizard tails aren't really gonna be worth much. The lizard skins might be worth something, so I'll hold on to those. Let's see, has hare meat maintained its value or has it crashed out? It's crashed a little bit, but not that badly actually. I can work with this. I can work with this. It's worth over 4,000 still. It shouldn't be. I'm gonna be blunt. Like a hare meat should be worth, and what it is worth on like most private servers is maybe like 300 to 800 depending on demand, right? That's how much it should be worth. With, I don't know, somewhere around like 400 or 500 as an average. 4,000 gil. 4,000 gil is like 10 times what it should be worth. And it was over 5,000. Like, it was going up to 6,000, like maybe a week or two ago. So yeah, prices like that are nonsense, and I can't support that. Like, people will often ask why you undercut so much on certain things, and it's like, it's because for what the item is, and for how easy it is to acquire it, and for how much certain people need these things, like, it's like, yeah, it shouldn't be, it shouldn't have a high price tag. It really shouldn't. It should be accessible. I feel the same way about stuff like sneak oils and prism powder. Sneak oils and prism powder are adventuring necessities for non-mage classes. Like, you need it, and you're gonna need it in your parties too to get to them sometimes. So if like prism powder and sneak oil, if they cost like 10k each, then, well, it's gonna cause problems with grouping. Because now, like, people won't be able to afford them to use. They're not gonna use them in a group. Like, people won't be able to get to the places they need to group in some cases. It's one of those things where, like, if it's not accessible, it'll cause overall game health issues. So keeping the price down is a good idea for certain items. Like, you'll still make money. You know, if you're a good crafter, you'll still make money on these things, but you don't need to like, you don't need to upcharge so much, you know? So that's why I do my part to keep prices down across the board. Oh wow, you can sell lizard tails for 30 gil to a vendor. Even when they cost 20 gil on the auction. Now see, that's one that doesn't quite make sense. Like, you could sell these things for 30 gil to an NPC, why would you sell it for 20 gil on the auction house? Like, I wouldn't even care if you sold it for 30 gil on the auction house, because then at least, you know, that's how much it would be to sell to an NPC. You're not shortchanging yourself. And that's still a very low price for people that need lizard tails. I don't know. Okay, so I'm only a few EXP away from level 25. Let's go hit the dunes again. Return to dunes. You can never leave. I will admit, I have a bit of fondness for Valkurm Dunes. It's nostalgic. Like, it is honestly nostalgic to me. And I guess it's because out of all the times I've played Final Fantasy XI, all the private servers, even back in retail, the dunes is where I remember spending most of my time. Like this, these old familiar white sands, it's where you're gonna spend a whole lot of your adventuring career. A whole lot of it. I just did another dumb. Yeah, I'm white mage, red mage. I forgot to change my sub job to Beastmaster. I guess I thought I did that last night. I kind of thought I did it last night, but I guess not. I could always I could always see how well I fare with no pet, right? I think the answer to that question would be you're not gonna fare very well at all. Like you need that extra damage from the pet. Like the pet, you know, as a white mage I can heal myself, so it's not even survival. It's not even a matter of having something to tank for me, although that is really good too. But it's more a matter of having an extra source of damage. And there really is no better source of damage that you're gonna get out of your sub job than Beastmaster. Like charming a pet that is a little bit lower level than you to fight similarly leveled enemies, like that is a huge DPS increase right there. Like nothing else is really gonna do that for you. You know, not dual wielding clubs as a ninja, not sneak attack from a thief. Like no, none of that is even gonna begin to compare to the damage of having an additional party member, basically. Alright, so we're swapped out to Beastmaster. Anything sell? Oh hey! Wow, stuff sold already. Yeah, my fire crystal sold. My earth crystal sold. Nice. That's always a good feeling when you put things up on the auction house and they sell pretty much immediately. It's a real good feel right there. Kind of spinning my wheels, pouring a little bit more water. These ice cubes are holding out pretty good, actually. There's still ice cubes in the glass, not much ice cube, but they're still there. They're hanging on, keeping my glass cool. Funny thing is, I used to not understand like what's the point of ice cubes, right? And I feel like that came from such a place of, you know, having AC and always being able to escape the heat. But, you know, I was like, oh, all ice cubes do is water your drink down. That's terrible. But, see, I put ice cubes in water, right? So you can't water down water. But, it's just to keep the drink cool because it's so goddamn hot, right? Otherwise, I'm going to be drinking a glass of hot water, and that doesn't feel good. Alright, I want to go for sort of the optimal level of pet. The optimal level of pet to me is not too high, not too low. 23 is one level under me, which is a little... I don't know. A little cutting it close, I guess. But if I buff up with Protect and Blink, then even if the charm fails, I can recover from that. Okay, charm did not fail. Good. So hare meat's worth a lot of money. I could go back to killing hares. I am considering to fight the damselflies since I can charm them, right? It would be decent EXP. Like, I'd get a good amount of EXP per kill, but it would take me a lot longer to actually kill them, which is the issue. I see that bomb enemy over there. I'm not sure what level bombs are here. They're probably higher level than the other enemies around. They usually are. No divine magic level up. Okay, yeah, they're level 25. Which is just one level higher than me. That ain't bad. But not risking it. I just saw a bomb disappear, so... Oh yeah, right! So this is something I never really thought about too much, but bomb enemies in this, they're like undead. They disappear in the daytime. Like, there's no bombs during the day. Which... Wait, are bombs undead? Like, hold up, are they? Are bombs undead? I don't think so. I don't think they're undead, but maybe they are? I don't know. Huh. I have questions. I guess one time I'll have to try and experiment casting Cure on a bomb enemy now to see if that does anything to it. Oh, I just noticed my EXP ring is no longer in effect, so let's pop it again. And now I can put my my second charisma ring on. I don't really know how much charisma does for charming. It's one of those things where it might do everything or it might do nothing. I honestly don't know. It's hard to tell. Like, I guess it doesn't hurt to have charisma gear. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, I can pretend it does. That's just sort of how stats work in this game. I mean, not all stats, to be fair. To be fair, certain stats have a very direct effect on your overall stat, like your overall statistics. Like, you get more strength, that'll increase your attack rating, and your attack rating is kind of like, that determines what your maximum damage is. Not necessarily what it will be, but just what your maximum is, right? So having more strength directly equals having more attack, which directly equals a higher maximum damage against enemies, right? Like, okay, that's a pretty clear cause and effect right there. That one's straightforward. But stuff like, I don't know, dexterity. Well, dexterity is accuracy. If you have higher dex, you'll feel it, but you know, the problem with accuracy is you either hit or you miss, and if you miss, well, missing is the worst, right? Like, when you miss, you really feel it, but when you hit, it's just like, well, that's expected, that's what you want. It's easy to overlook the effects of dexterity. It's also your crit chance, too. So, I mean, if you have a really high dex, then okay, you'll crit a lot, but again, it's random. It's only potential. Even if you have super high dexterity, you might miss 5 hits in a row. You might not get a critical for 20 hits. It's just RNG, right? And then, good lord, charisma. I mean, I don't know. Like, charisma is just sort of your chance to... I don't know. It's not even clearly defined. It's just a vague chance that you will charm an enemy more often than not. That's hard to work with as far as numbers go. Alright, I need me a new damselfly. There we go. Out with the old, in with the new. So I will say it's definitely worth my time to tame a damselfly instead of just, like, you know, taming the local lizards and rabbits. The damselfly, that thing kicks ass. Like, well, it's higher level, I guess. And hey there, spank into monkey. Oh, we'll go with monkey for short. Also, God, this link shell chat. I think they're just, I don't know, cat on keyboarding over there. So let's see, I'm trying to get up to 25. We're almost there. Oh hey, a party of adventurers. Oh hey, hey there. So let's see, if there's a party there, I'll try to go around the other side of the hill, see if there's anyone around there. I mean, it looks like there's a ton of mobs out here, but I like to have a whole area to myself. and Tom, again, I try to say names as one whole thing, so that could be a lot, like Tomaseth, or Tom for short. We'll go with for now. Okay, it looks like this side of the hill I have all to myself, so. Let the rodent murder commence. Again, I have no issues with friendly, jolly competition between solo and group players. I have no problem with that as a Beastmaster main. However, when possible, I try to do my EXPing where I have a good, nice area to myself. And as long as there's no group claiming this side, yeah, I got lizards and rabbits for days. Oh man, like, I mean, are you, like, new? Like fresh as a baby to Final Fantasy XI new? Oh man. I wish I could go back to being that. I mean, I'm sort of an old noob because I've never hit max level in this game. But I wish I could just be totally fresh again. Oh. The memories. But no, Dunes is... Oh, the Dunes are a great intro to partying because almost every party just sucks badly. It's great. Well, yeah, like, if you mostly just played some back in the day, but haven't for, like, 18 years, then, yeah, that's pretty fresh. That's pretty fresh. I mostly did my playing back in the day, too. When the game was new. Though I have, in the past couple years, like, I have played on private servers, but I've just never really gotten further than level 60. The second limit break. I think it's because the third limit break is some bullshit. Like the third limit break is like if you just look at a walkthrough, like go to a wiki and look at a walkthrough for Limit Break 3, and it is so long. Like I feel confused and scared just looking at a walkthrough that breaks it down as simple as possible. So, for various reasons, I've never really leveled up that much, but I love the game all the same. It's always a fun ride. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I am gonna try to go for 75 on this server, because I like Horizon, and not just because it has a lot of people playing on it. That's a bonus. But I genuinely like what they're doing with the game, and it's actually making it feel a little more fresh to me. Like the little changes they've made, a lot for the better. It's helping to make things fresh again. Also, I like how they popped a shiny new texture pack on things, some new soundtracks. It all goes a long way to make it feel kind of, like a new coat of paint, right? So I think I'm ready to go to 75. We'll see how that pans out. Oh hey, my fly rebelled. Charm. Damselfly. There we go. There'll be no uppity damselflies on my watch. Yeah, charisma gear. Good investment. But yeah, so for private servers, the first one that I ever tried out when I was trying to get back into FF11, because the funny thing is, retail doesn't work for me. Like, I tried, but the Play Online launcher just, like I can't work it. And then also, retail is just such a different game. Like, that's not the game I want to return to. I want to return to the game, like, as I knew it, right? But the first private server I did was Nasomi, and because I think Nasomi was one of the first, right? And I don't like to shit talk any private servers, but I don't know, it had a lot of bugs, like a lot of problems. And Horizon has some bugs too, but not. Oh hey, a party. Sure. I'll do the party thing. I am only, like, I am so close to level 25. I'm so close to 25. But yeah, let's go ahead and accept that party invite. This is, there's only one guy. So, okay, hold up. Yeah, when we're closer to go, yeah. So I'll say that I'll warp to Juno when we're closer to go time. Like, I am so close to level 25, I would really like to get my level up, so I'm just gonna keep killing things. But anyway, got a little distracted there. So yeah, I don't know, Nasomi, like, it had a lot of technical issues, like a lot of things just didn't work right. Like, really didn't work right. Yeah, I guess I'll tame this one maybe. Then again, I don't know, it's already hurting. Let's charm that lizard. I want a fresh lizard. But other than just some weird technical stuff with Nasomi, I found that I didn't like how parties tended to work. Like, every party was a power level party. And while that is certainly really fast, that's not really what I'm looking for. you know? I mean, I'm playing classic FF11. Clearly, I don't want to go fast, right? So at a certain point, I switched over to Eden because Eden is a lot more technically sound than Nozomi is. It's run much better, but Eden has kind of the same problem as Nozomi. The problem that because they allow people to multi-box, every party is a power level party, because like everyone has a pet white mage that they park outside of the group and just, you know, spam heal between pulls or supplement the actual healer's healing, or if they're very careful about it, just don't have a healer in the party and just have like 6 DPS. And it's like, that's not really what I want. That is not really how I want to play the game, you know? Like, even if it's slow, even if it's painful, I want like real parties with real stakes that don't have a level 75 white mage just parked there waiting to, you know, to act as a safety net. I don't want that. So as much as like Eden was a good server, but yeah, didn't like that. And also the population was pretty low. Like, even before Horizon came along, the population on Eden was really low. Since I played during EU hours mostly, there was just no one to play with. But not a bad server. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to go back there sometime. Oh yay, hey, go me. Go me! Solo white mage for the win. But, I don't know, with, so like with Horizon, I like the changes that they've made to the game while trying to keep it classic still. I like the idea behind what they're doing. That kind of breathes fresh life into it. I like that they're remastering some music, got the, you know, different texture packs and stuff. Like, I like they're trying to give a fresh coat of paint to a classic experience. That's an interesting idea. So I have renewed interest in the game now. Also, I like their little custom options, like this blue hair, right? But I think the main thing that I really like about Horizon, the thing that really drew me in, is that this server is one account with one active character per player. That alone is enough to make me want to play here over the other servers I played. And I get why every private server lets you multi-box, because, yeah, it can be hard to find party members on private servers, but I find that multi-boxing, multi-boxing really ruins the party dynamic. Like, it really does ruin it. Like, way more so than, like, on this server, a lot of people play Beastmaster, right? But really, people play Beastmaster because they want to, you know, they want to solo it, right? They want the option to solo while they're waiting for a good group or whatever. Like, that's just reality. People want to solo, but letting people make their own party with alts is not. That has implications beyond just solo, right? That's my issue. Yeah, like if you're making your own party with alts, you are basically making like do-it-yourself trusts, and that has implications way beyond just soloing, right? It changes group dynamics. Every group becomes a PL group. It changes things in a bad way. Making Beastmaster a little overpowered so people can just solo and have fun like that, that does not impact groups. Like, that doesn't impact groups. I mean, the only way it impacts it is now Beastmasters can actually group up with each other and have a good time. But that's only a positive, really. And I've never played on Wings, but I will have to look into that. I'll have to look into Wings. I keep hearing things about Wings, but this is the one I looked into first. I looked into it because people on Eden were saying that they liked Horizon a lot, and a lot of people that I knew on Eden kind of, yeah, they were switching over to Horizon. And so I looked into this, and, you know, that's how I got here. Also, it looks like the party is slowly forming, so I'm gonna make my way. I'm gonna make my way over to Juno now. Actually, wait, what am I thinking? I can teleport to Sandoria, and then from Sandoria I can just teleport straight to Kufum Island. Like, I have a really good in to the island, so I guess I can take my time, right? But okay, to be fair, I would like to buy some things. I'd like to buy some MP food, and I'd like to maybe get some MP drinks, or something like that. Just as a backup. I don't want to pop MP drinks all the time. I don't know. It's hard to say like what quote unquote killed Eden, because I was enjoying it. I was having fun, but I had two issues. The every party being a power level party, and the population was just really low, and it was low even when I started. I think Eden was a good server. Like, it was handled well. If I can be honest, I think Eden has less bugs than Horizon. Horizon doesn't have that many bugs, and none that are really no game-breaking bugs. But Eden was the most stable server I'd played on. It's just certain things rubbed me the wrong way. So, okay, it's been a while since I played on Eden, but the power level nerf, as far as I know, it was just like, if the power level gets aggro, that kills EXP. But if they don't get aggro, you still get EXP, right? The way that I remember people using the power levels was, like, they would have a healer outside the party they'd do all the healing between fights. So the actual healer of the party didn't really need to manage their MP or be good or anything. That was the main issue. Yeah, so I guess before the power level would tank, and if I remember right, that's how it was on Nasomi. On Nasomi, I remember the power level just tanking for the party, and like I remember the power level on Nasomi would just pull like every enemy in the zone, and then the party would just leisurely pick them off and kill them, but the PL would keep aggro. I gotta be honest, like, I'm not a fan of PLing though. Like, I don't. Like, when I play the game, I don't care how fast I'm getting EXP. I don't care, like, about the efficiency of it. I love the group dynamics, and I love the social gameplay. That's kind of what I like about FF11 over, say, 14. Like, if I want to go fast like Sonic, Final Fantasy XIV is really good for that, because there's no choices to make. There's nothing to optimize. It's just log in and be showered in rewards, right? If I wanted that, I'd play 14. For me, it's all about the party dynamics, and having a power level it kind of breaks all that. At least for me, it makes it a lot less enjoyable. Alright, so I want to get my Signet on. And yeah, I do get, like, not wanting to slosh through the dunes, although, I guess, so look, I'm a little weird like this. I'm a little weird like this. But I actually love Valkyrim dunes. Like, I love partying in the dunes because it is such a wild card. Like, you never know what you're gonna get, and most parties are really fucking bad. But honestly, that's kind of exciting to me. It's exciting when things don't go right. So, for me, I actually kind of prefer Dunes parties. But I know I'm weird like that. But I think, so here's what I remember from other servers like Nozomi. I remember the power leveling was intense, and also that people would just go to 75 in the Dunes. Actually, I think you might have been able to do that on Eden, too. I forget what their level sync, I forget, like, what their level sync rules were. But I remember leveling up in the Dunes much longer than is normal. But either way, I don't know. I'm generally against power leveling in games like, it doesn't matter what game. Okay, unlimited sync. So yeah, I'm pretty sure on Eden that I actually did go to like level 50 in the Dunes. I'm pretty sure I did. But yeah, I don't know. For me, so I don't have a problem with level sync. Like, if you want to level to level 75 in the Dunes, I think, sure, why not, right? Because you're still playing, like, as long as there's no power leveling in the mix, you're still playing the game like it more or less plays all the way up to 75. Like, the basic mechanics of the game don't really change that much. They only get, you know, more layered, right? It's just, for me, I'm not the reason I don't like power leveling is because it kind of feels like it takes agency away from, you know, the player. What I remember happening a lot is, hey, I like being the white mage, right? Healing is fun. And then you join a party and, well, they have a power level who's just doing all the healing. And so I get to just sit there and watch. Oh man, it feels great getting cucked in my own party. Yeah, that's my issue with it, but I don't know. I tend to avoid power leveling in any game that I play. Okay, City of Heroes, right? Like, that game, nowadays on private servers, like, people love power leveling in that game. They love their farms, their AFK farms and stuff in City of Heroes, and I don't, like, I avoid those. I do not join them, not my thing. I want to, you know, I want the struggles, right? I play games because I like the struggles. But that's just how I play. Okay, so let's see. I changed my sub to red mage. I don't have the best gear, but I'm a white mage. I was gonna buy some stuff, but it looks like people are already over in Kufum Island, so I don't wanna hold them up. But I do wanna buy that food. Okay, I'll buy the food. I'll do that. I want to get like some apple pie or whatever. Like, whatever gives like 50 MP. And isn't too expensive either. Okay, get my brass hairpin on. The Sandorian ring gives a little mind. That's a good one. And I'm gonna... Unless they have a red mage, I'll check when I get there, but... Unless they have someone else to do debuffing, then I'll just keep using this this wand. If they don't have anyone doing that. Also, goddamn this link shell. Goddamn them. They're gonna get me cancelled. Alright, let's see. So, I want to buy some foods. I want some apple pie or Is apple pie the one that gives like 50, or that might only give 25, I think. It's a bread dish though, right? Or maybe that's a sweet. Sweets. Okay, apple pie gives 30. Is there anything that gives better? Oh, that's apple pie +1. Ooh, this gives +2 HP and MP when recovering. And it gives a little... Yeah, it gives a little mind, gives some MP. 2020, that's not bad. Is there better than the... Okay, so the regular apple pie is only 25 MP, that's not... Okay, the Rollin' Berry pie, that's 50 MP, that sounds pretty nice. 3,000 gil a pop. Actually, I think the sweet rice cake it's both cheaper, but also I think it might be a little more... I think it might be a little more bang for my buck. Just because the MP when resting... Like, I think 2 MP while resting is probably worth more than a little extra MP. Probably. We'll see. Okay, so I bought me a stack of rice cakes. I like some good cheap food, but hopefully I can get some good effect out of it. And let's see, what is the party setup looking like? So, okay, we've got a summoner white mage, so they might kind of help with healing a little bit. We'll see. We'll see what they do. But probably I'm gonna have to be doing the debuffing because there's no red mage, so yeah, I'll stick with my U wand +1. Gives me 4 minds, and then I have my ring, and then the food gives me some mind too, right? Yeah, that gives, yeah, so okay, between all of that I have decent mind. My white magic spells should land mostly. Mostly. All these fishermen over here. I'd assume they're going for moat carp or... I think moat carp is the thing that people get in Sandoria, like if they're fishing in Sandoria. Though I know there's also that pond in West Ronfar, which is pretty good for moat carp too. I kinda skipped over moat carp. I didn't really do that. But now my fishing, I need to catch black eels to level up my fishing now. Maybe one day I'll have that Lu Shang rod. I don't really count on it. I forget how many fish you need. It's like 10,000 or something ridiculous like that. Okay, so send me to Kufum Island. I think I'm as prepared as I'm gonna be. Probably as prepared as I'm gonna get. Oh yeah, I already got Signet when I was in the dunes. I am level 25, so... Which I'm only barely level 25. Yeah, if I die, I get de-leveled, which, oh, fun. But I can sneak and invis myself. I got that covered. Where is my party at? They're kind of all over. Where are the bulk of them? The bulk of them are to the northeast. Alright. Maybe just sneak a little bit. Wait a second. Is this accurate? It's double light right now. It is double light in Kufum Island. I have never seen that before. Like, is there like some event that causes that? Because I have literally never seen double light in Kufum Island. Are there like light elementals out now? If there are, somebody's already killed it. I didn't know that was a possibility. Like, I didn't know that that light weather was a possibility in this zone. Huh. Well, I will join my party over here. Oh hey, it's Bob Ross. It's Cat Girl Bob Ross. I will wave with my oven mitts on. Oh, I didn't know that you could like emote while you're sitting down. I didn't know you could do that. Huh. Okay, so yeah, I guess I'm gonna do some white mage partying, the most exciting kind of partying. It's always fun streaming, talking to people, and also being responsible for the life of 5 other people. It's always fun juggling that. A lot of people have a bazaar up, and I'm always tempted to take a look, but it's probably gonna be nothing that I need or can afford. I just assume it'll be nothing that I need or can afford. I assume it. Also, something I hate about the bazaar function is that, like, there's like a tax on that. There's a tax on the bazaar. I kinda hate that. But I guess you could just ask them, like, hey, could I buy this from you directly? I guess that's always an option, right? If they're not AFK. Okay, so we're in the game. Let me buff up and just bite into my sweet rice cake. So there's, yeah, it looks like it's me and the summoner. God, I have so little MP compared to that that Taru summoner. Like, I got like half the MP of that dude. But to be fair, you don't need that much MP. It's nice, but you don't need it. More important is recovery, and recovery, you know, that's an item thing. Wait, so the tax is only in cities. So if you're not, wait, so if you're not in a city, you don't pay tax on the bazaar? Huh. Oh, they want to go to crabs and fish. Crab and fish time. I didn't know that. I didn't know. I guess that would explain why sometimes I see like a bunch of people just sitting outside of Juno with their bazaar up. I guess that makes sense now, right? Yeah, I've encountered that. Like, I've encountered the massive groups of people, like AFK in Molenberry, and I was like, what, is there, like, are they getting ready for a raid or something? Like, what's going on? Now I know. That still feels really strange. I don't... Like, okay, to me, what would make more sense is if, like... I don't know, if the tax... I feel like it should be more expensive to sell things outside of a city, right? I don't know. Okay, hold up. we're grouping now. I think the summoner thinks they're the healer. What are they doing? They're just kind of sitting there. Oh, I should put, hold up. I have bar water. I don't really know if bar water does anything, but... I don't know if it does anything. But why not? Placebo effect, right? Placebo effect. Just pacing my cures here. Oh, duty-free zones. I don't know, the way some things work, it's a mystery to me, but that's Final Fantasy XI. Always has been, right? Insert meme here. Also, how much EXP did I get? I wasn't really paying close attention. 210. I do have a boost on it, but not bad, not bad. Now let me maybe get back a little bit. I love this intense combat music as I stand back and lazily throw out debuffs and cures. Oh man, oh my god, why did you do that? Like, oh, day 0 lag. Uh-oh. Like why? Why did that Taru just AoE? Oh god. Yeah, no, I let him, like, no, just let him drop. Let his ass drop. But also there was an R0. The day rolled over and, yeah, lag. And hey there, UL. Ahoy. Just doing some group play. Just letting the foolish Taru get himself killed. Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have bought Rays. I really should have bought Rays. Then again, I mean, we're at the outpost for Kufum Island. As long as they have the outpost, they can get back real easy. But it looks like they used Ramuh's AoE ability and didn't realize it was an AoE. But yeah, whenever I see something like that happen, right? Like whenever I see a foolish mage just slam out an AoE and draw a ton of aggro from things we aren't even fighting. No, I don't heal them. I don't heal them. I just let them die, and then they take the aggro with them. All right. Now, that might sound callous, that might be cold-hearted, if you will, but I generally find it is the preferable alternative to healing them, and then I grab aggro, and now we're fighting two things, possibly one enemy that's way higher level than we should be fighting, and, you know, that's just gonna wipe the group, right? So you let them... You let them sacrifice themselves for the team, and you carry on. That's how I do it. Look, it's all just part of the difficult decisions that a healer must make in Final Fantasy XI. The hard calls. the red and blue moral choices, if you will. Basically, I'm saying that I'm a renegade healer, I guess. Oh yeah, I forget, I have regen, right? Like, wait, actually, what is the level sync? What level am I right now? 22. Okay, so I'm level synced down to 22. Do I have regen at this level? I forget. I do, I have regen, okay. I need to put it on my bar, but I will do that, after this very long pupil fight. Okay. I haven't really done that much partying as a white mage. I will admit, most of the white maging I've done is in the dunes, and I soloed my way to 25. Like, I Beastmaster sub-job soloed to 25, so yeah. Let's see, let me just kind of move some things around. There we go. So, just put regen next to the Curaga. Alright, now I know. I know that I have regen, and that is an option, a thing I can do. So I'm not sure who's gonna be, like, pulling the aggro in the party, but I put aggro, or I put regen on one guy who was tanking on Bob Ross, I think, right? I think that was the one I did it on, I think? Maybe? I guess regen is also good when we're in between pulls, too, right? Also, oh, the Steam Summer Sale, that ends tomorrow, huh? Oh yeah, 13th, I guess, I didn't make up my mind on what, like, I have enough money on my Steam for one more game that I might want, and, like, I'm not sure what I want that game to be. I'm leaning towards, Total War Warhammer 3, because I like those games, right? I had a blast with 2, so thinking to get 3. But there's other games I want too. God, it's hard. It's a hard call. And I won't be getting any more games for quite a while. Put that regen on. But yeah, I'll make better use of it, I think. Wait, did I just cast regen on myself? I did. What? Oh my god. I know what I did wrong. I know what I did wrong. I copy-pasted my regen macro. Yeah, I copy-pasted it from my solo, from my Beastmaster solo macro. And when I'm solo as a Beastmaster, obviously I don't care about buffing other people, right? That was a big dumb right there, but I fixed it. Yeah, for my Beastmaster bar, like any buffs, heals, whatever, I just have it set to use it on myself because, you know, it's quicker, and when you're soloing, there's no one else I'm gonna be healing, right? God, that felt dumb. That felt real dumb. But not as dumb as the time that I streamed for almost an hour with a black screen and didn't catch it, right? Not as bad as that. Alright, gonna preemptively put regen on a few people. water. So, my understanding of how elemental resistances work in this game, to my understanding, it doesn't do anything if an enemy just has a certain affinity, right? Like, doing bar water does not mean that the water elemental enemy does less damage, but if it uses a water type attack, it might do less damage, or is it a resist or don't resist thing? I'm not exactly sure. I've honestly never been sure how exactly resistances work in this game. Which, I know, that feels very shameful. It just surprisingly doesn't really come up at the level of play that I'm at. So yeah, just did a big water attack. Would we have taken more damage if I didn't do bar water? I don't know. Possibly. I feel like you'd have to somehow do really extensive testing to get a good feel for that. Like, you'd have to have like an enemy with a certain elemental type, and then just let it attack you with its special attacks, and do, I don't know, 10 buffed up, 10 unbuffed, and kind of do some averaging. I don't know. For me, I don't notice much difference, honestly. My MP recover. I have 216 in total, and I've hit that. Man, see, now that I'm actually regenning the party members, yeah, keeping up with the healing is a lot easier now. Like a lot easier. And not just in combat, but between fights, I can just, yeah, slap a regen on and let them, you know, let their HP naturally climb back up. He's in the yellow. The thing is, it's really easy for a Taru to get in the yellow for HP. Oh no, my dedication wore off. That's the most important thing. Let's get that EXP ring on again. But yeah, see, look, I don't have to, you know, I don't have to throw more cures on this guy. I can just let the regen do its thing. Oh, that feels so good. But I would say after this party, especially if I level up some more, I think I should most definitely buy more spells or quest for them. I know some white mage spells, well, some spells in general, you gotta quest for them. We'll see. I'm not sure if Raise is one of those spells, or if Raise is just a spell that you buy off a certain NPC, or God help me, if it's a spell you have to get through a BCNM or something. Exciting fight going on over there. Wish I could take part. I'm gonna put regen on Bob Ross with 3 S's. Alright, I think they'll be good. Yeah, just sit back down. Oh, Aqua Ball. So okay, so far, yeah, like I'm not having any issue with my MP, and I don't have like any, you know, no drinks. I'm using very basic food, but my MP, no issues managing it and keeping everyone healed pretty good. Now, some of that is that on this server they have the healing amount increased, which is only a positive change as far as I'm concerned. Oh god, that's gonna interrupt me. No, okay, that was bubble curtain, not bubble shell. Alright. But yeah, especially on this server, I don't really feel like having a giant MP pool is necessary at all. I mean, all that would mean is that I have to rest more, right? But I look at my MP, and per fight, I barely have to dip into it, but I'm healing, I'm debuffing, I'm doing all the things I need to do. But because I don't have a massive MP pool, I don't have to, you know, I don't have to sit and rest for 5 minutes every fight. I kind of feel like it's beneficial to have a smaller MP pool. I understand the Galka now. Let's see, I was gonna throw a cure, but I think regen would be better for that one. I know some people, they live and also very much die by the Taru MP pool. Some people, it's Taru or nothing. And they also tend to be the same people that will also slap astral rings onto a Taru mage at a low level. They tend to be the ones face down in the dirt most of the time. I mean, actually, you could have, like, set a stopwatch to it. This summoner over here, like, he was dead in the first 5 minutes, right? But, I don't know, for me, I usually play as either a human or an elf, right? And especially with elf, which I should make an elf alt or something, but like having a nice chunky HP pool, or at the very least having a decent HP pool, I feel like that is so much more valuable than having some big ass mana bar that it takes forever to fill. I don't know. I like not dying. I find I can generally contribute to groups better when I'm not dead. At least that's just, you know, hypothetically, just theoretically, right? I find that whether I'm healing or dealing damage or whatever, I find I tend to do it better when I'm not dead. But that's just me. Well, it's a little bit of managing hate, but it's a little bit also that like AoEs happen. Aggro, look, on private servers especially, aggro is weird, and, you know, sometimes you're just gonna get hit, right? It happens. And I find that Tarus that really maximize their MP, they just die. Like, I've been in so many groups where, and not just when they're mages either, like, God help them, the Taru tank or melee DPS. I've been in so many parties where I've just sat there, and the only person who died was the Taru, and they died like 10 times. Like, they must have come out of, like, a negative balance for EXP at the end of the party, right? I don't know, it's just how things kind of work out. Well, I guess what I mean, I get it, it's a hate thing, and also, again, private servers can get weird, random aggro happens, but I think there tends to be a personality type. Like, in general, what I've seen, people that care a lot about having, like, the biggest dick for MP, they tend to also want to have the biggest dick for damage, and so even when it's not smart, they're gonna draw aggro because they have to whip it out and slap it on the table, right? They have to. It's a personality thing. And since that all kind of goes together, what it equals is, yeah, you get the guy who has something to prove, and they also are playing a very glass cannon kind of character, and then they die. It's something I've seen in a lot of games, not just here, but it's many things that come together with certain personality types, and it's just that's what you get. That's what you get. But it makes sense, right? Like, you know, to me that makes a lot of sense. If you have to prove yours is the biggest, that tends to roll over to dealing damage, to hate, to everything, and so, yeah, you're gonna be the one that draws aggro and gets killed. Yeah, like, of course, right? See, me, I'm laid back. I don't give a fuck. So I sit back and I'm the last one to die, alright? I am always the last one dead. But I do, look, I do my job, I keep everyone alive, but I ain't gonna be the white mage that throws down on the grenade for you. That ain't me, alright? Alright, well, yeah, one of them did a run, so I will slap on a regen, and I guess we're resting now. Or they want to move. They want to move. Okay. Well, let's do that. Yeah, but I find for the way that I play the game, right? For the way I personally play, human is a good choice, because I tend to do whatever, right? So human's good for that. But I also like elves, too. And hell, at some point I want to try Galka. But on Eden, I had an elf mage. I actually went summoner with that, and I had a lot of fun with it because, like, I didn't have to worry so much about my own safety. Like, I could just cast my spells and do my thing, and if I got aggro, so what? I have a massive health pool, right? Like, yeah, sure, whack on me a little bit. That's extra mitigation for the tank. But I tend to just generally have a very laid-back approach to games like this. And I make it known. Like, you won't catch me in some, like, hardcore power game and raid whatever. Like, no, I don't join stuff like that. You know, I play casually, I join groups that are just whatever. I find I generally don't really get along with the power player. So it's a good thing I'm not in their group. I don't want to be in their group, and they don't want to be in mine. It works out. Everybody's happy. Oh yeah, see, it always gets me when people, like, they really want to maximize that XP per hour, but it's like, it's Final Fantasy XI. It's FF11. This is the slowest game on Earth. I can't think of many games that are slower than this. So you're playing the wrong game if you want to go fast like Sonic, you know? There's way better games for that. I mean, hell, you could still... I mean, if you want a classic game where you can still do the gotta go fast, I mean, again, I'd point to City of Heroes. You can literally be Sonic if you want in that, but you know, there's better picks for being that type of player. I find. But in this game, I don't know. I always go human or elf. Back in the day, like when I first played FF11, of course I played a Mithra. Of course. The Forbidden Cat. But, so since I like to play Bard a lot, which I haven't unlocked it on this server, but I do enjoy Bard. But Mithra is kind of the worst choice for that. I mean, it all works, it's all fine. But, but since I like Bard, yeah, human works better, or elf. Actually, I find elf works, yeah, elf Bard is pretty fun. I do melee Bard. But one that I've always wanted to play, but I've never been brave enough, is Galka. And it's a combination. It is a combination of the fact that you can't make, you know, a sexy female Galka, right? But also, more so, it's that, like, Galka seems really focused, right? Like, they're really focused on the physical stuff. Whether that's offense or defense, but they're... Like, yeah, I've seen plenty Galka mages, and I've seen Galka mage work fine. Like, it's fine. With the right mentality and attitude, it's fine. But, I don't know, I feel like, especially as a player that never has much guild to spend, maybe I'm not ready for that, right? I'm not ready for that challenge mode yet. I think I slapped regen on everyone that's getting hit, so just put a bar spell on. Again, don't know if it does anything. We'll see. I mean, wait, I didn't have bar water on when like me and some other, like the mage that was next to me, like we got hit with splash breath once, which is a fairly focused cone attack, and it only did like 15 damage. So I don't know. How much water resist do I have? 50. Okay, like 51 resist. You'd think that would do something, but I don't know. I don't know. I have a really hard time telling if stats actually mean anything in this game, and I have a little bit of paranoia about that because of other games that I've played where stats don't matter. Like, the game plays it like it does, but it doesn't really. A good example, a good classic example of a game where stats are a placebo is EverQuest. The original EverQuest, like, playing on Project 1999, which I like. The thing is, a lot of the stats in EverQuest, they say they do things, and they're supposed to do things, but they don't really, or they have a minimal effect. Like, there's a huge diminishing return, right? A good example there would be agility. So in EverQuest, agility is supposed to increase your armor class. It's supposed to increase your chance to not get hit. But through the many years of actual testing, people have found out that agility has like maybe a 1% effect on that if you cap it out. But really, it only has an effect up to like 75 points, which everyone has. Everyone has 75 agility. Like, that's the minimum. So agility is basically a completely useless stat in EverQuest. Like, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't do enough to matter. The same goes for, say, intelligence in a weird way. Like, yeah, mages in EverQuest need intelligence. It increases their mana pool. That's a visible effect. But what increases your mana pool more is getting gear that directly increases your mana pool. Like, that's much more effect. and intelligence doesn't affect your chance to land spells. It doesn't affect your spell damage. It doesn't affect anything. Just your mana pool. And if you don't need a bigger mana pool, then it literally does nothing for you. Like, EverQuest is weird like that. There's lots of just troll stats. So I tend to get a little, I don't know, a little paranoid / eye rolly at stats in video games, because, yeah, oftentimes it doesn't matter. Or the effect is so small it might as well not matter. I mean, hell, in this game, Charisma, I play Beastmaster as my main job, and I've done some testing, like charming. I usually charm decent challenge enemies, because that's, you know, that makes sense. It's the charm lasts the longest with the minimal risk, right? Oh, we're unsynced. But yeah, like I've done testing wearing all my charisma gear, and then testing like all my charisma gear using charisma food, and then using no charisma food, no charisma gear, and a sub job that doesn't boost my charisma. And I noticed absolutely no change. Like, for some enemies, I would fail to charm them 5 times in a row, no matter what my charisma is. For some enemies, it's almost a guaranteed charm every single time, again, no matter what my charisma stat is. So at least as far as charisma is concerned in this game, as far as it relates to Beastmaster, it doesn't really seem to do anything, or if it does, it's a minimal effect. Now, for bards, it's their chance to land their spells, right? For bards, I'd imagine they get more out of that, but I don't know, I'd have to also test that. I know when it comes to mind and landing debuffs, it definitely has an effect. Like, I do notice that my spells land more reliably when I have a higher mind, but I notice a very high level of RNG. I notice that sometimes you'll just fail over and over again. Like, you'll get resisted constantly, doesn't matter what you do. And sometimes every spell will land, and I feel like it must be something like everything you do in this game is 80% random, and then that last 20%, like, you can maybe nudge it a little more in the direction of success. Depending on your stats, but that's what it feels like. It's what it feels like. Also, I finally finished off my glass of cold water. Oh man. Man, the link shell's being problematic again. Alright, so it looks like someone disconnected. Who disconnected? I see the summoner, I see the ninja over here. So we got our tanks, we got our summoner, we got our... I assume he's a ranger. I'm not sure who left. I'm not sure who we lost exactly. Well, you know what? No better time than the present. I didn't eat lunch. I have my bag of lentil chips with paprika seasoning. I'm gonna go ahead and dip into that because my stomach is growling. Like, hey, I guess we're waiting for the guy to come back, right? So, I guess it's break time. OSHA regulations. A healer has to have a break every half hour. I'm guaranteed my lunch break, okay? If I can get to max level, if I can do that, Beastmaster. I like Beastmaster. And on this server, it's really good. And I've had a lot of fun. Like, whenever I can get into a Beastmaster party, it's been tons of fun. Also, it's a big quality of life improvement for every other class. Well, as a white mage, for instance, when I've been waiting for parties, I just equip Beastmaster as my sub job, and I go solo, right? So having it at 75 would be pretty nice. Oh no, they're losing faith in this guy. These chips aren't very filling. I just noticed that they're only, it's only 392 calories for every 100 grams, and this bag is only a 90-gram bag. So this isn't really a full lunch. And yeah, I think, like, having Beastmaster at 75, it just gives you more options in general. Oh, I guess I'm level 55 with it. I could do some of my artifact stuff, right? I've actually never done any of the artifact quests in Final Fantasy XI. I've never done any of them. Alright, also sorry for the munching here, but yeah, I'm really hungry and it looks like they're not doing anything for a bit, so. But to be fair, these lentil chips are pretty good. No, I'm not even the weapons. I mean, hold up. Oh, I have paprika dust on my hands. So I think I can look in my Mog. Yeah, here's what I have. So, for axes, I'm still using the level 43 Tabars. I killed Trickster Kinetics for those axes. Also, it looks like they're giving up or moving. Let's say I have my lower level axes for doing the Primivians. I use a level 47 Scythe as my main weapon as a Beastmaster. My weapons could use an upgrade, but yeah, I should do them artifact quests. I should try. Oh no, yeah, look, they're disbanding party. Oh, they're giving up. They're just giving up. Well, I mean, honestly, I can level up about as fast solo. God, I love being a slash Beastmaster. I mean, I'd welcome the help, but the main thing that I'm kind of working on is, like, I need people to do the Primivians. I really want to get access to Tavnasia. I've never gotten over to that region before. And so far I've only done Primivian Hala, but I really want to get those done. And also I'm working on leveling up sub-jobs, like, yeah, I want to get White Mage up to 37, I want to get Thief to 37, and maybe get Warrior to 37 too. Because I think at some point I might want to try tanking. So I'm kind of working on those so far. See, Chains of Promathia have always kind of mystified me. Because back in the day, I actually had like a physical box copy of it. And, like, I remember being really excited and like, oh, this stuff is cool, but even back in the day, when it was new, I could never get anyone to do it with me. Like, I could never get into a group, even when it was new content, right? So, I have always wanted to do the Primivians. I've, like, look. This region. This, yeah, over here. Yeah, this archipelago over here, it has just been a source of mystery for me since, like, the mid-2000s. I need to know what's over there. So yeah, that's kind of the main thing I would like to do, if I can get people's help to do it. The problem is timing. Like, it's hard for me to find a good time to do it. Also, I need to rank up too. I'm rank 4, and I still need to do my mission for that. Which I've never been higher. This rank 4 is as high as I've ever been. It's exciting. Also, I guess, you know what? I'll put my flag back up. Oh wait, I'm the party leader right now. Okay, I'll put my flag back up. But actually, I am super hungry. So I am sorry for the munching, but I need to eat something. Like, my hands are actually shaking because I had coffee and everything this morning, but I haven't eaten since breakfast, and I had a light breakfast. And it's, yeah, we're almost at like 2 p.m. here. So, I need food. I need food bad. But we can take the time to have a chat, I guess. And lentil chip eating ASMR. I'll try to finish them off as quick as I can, though. Went a little too fast. They're a little spicy too, so I didn't know. I thought they were just kind of mild paprikas, but Oh god, I'm filling the gamer stereotype. I have orange dust all over my fingers. Oh god. It's happening. Where's my bottle of Mountain Dew? I mean, to be fair, at least it's not Cheeto dust, right? It's not cheese dust, it's paprika dust, but still. Where? I need some Dr. Pepper. Okay, I've finished the chips off, but now okay, now I need to wash my hands. That was too much, but yeah, I try not to, like, you know, to eat on stream. I stay hydrated, but I try not to eat on stream because that's distracting, right? And also get stuff on my hands. But I needed food. Like, I was getting jittery I really needed it. Alright, well, I'll decide what I want to do when I get back, but a quick couple seconds, I just need to wash my hands, get the shameful orange dust off my fingers, and then, I don't know, we'll figure out what we want to do. Alright. So, yeah, I guess, I don't know, I'm kinda close to level 26, right? Kinda. It wouldn't take me long to get that, you know, Beastmaster soloing. It wouldn't take long. I'd say let's teleport back to Sandoria, at least, and then, figure out the plan of action. Also, because I sort of reminded myself of Dr. Pepper, which you can get Dr. Pepper over here. I have seen Dr. Pepper on German store shelves. But something that I haven't had in forever. So, look, what I used to drink was a kind of alternative, a store brand alternative to Dr. Pepper. I mean, there were a couple of those, right? Like, there's Mr. Pibb, right? But there was another one called, like, Mr. Perky. I believe that's what it was called, Mr. Perky. And it was a, yeah, a Dr. Pepper, cheaper alternative. God, I used to love that. In general, I used to love the knockoff store brand versions of soft drinks. I kind of have a soft spot for those. I have a little bit of a soft spot for knockoff store brands of anything, really. I find them just to be, I don't know, very, very adorable, very wholesome. Although the thing is, store brand stuff, they have that reputation of being bad, right? But here, honestly, here it's hard to find anything bad in a store. Like, even the store brand stuff is not, like, it's still good. So you don't get any, like, really shitty knockoffs that you just have because, oh, it's really cheap. It's like, no, it tastes fine. LA Ice. Hold up. Let me auto run. I'm gonna aim myself at the Mog House, and let me check that one up real quick. Let me do a quick search. Ooh, that looks like a mighty fine bottle of Genericola right there. Like that. I'm looking at the label of it, and yeah. That's what I like to see. So the generic here for a lot of things, and it's not necessarily like store brand generic, it's just generic. Like here you'll get like kind of generic brands that they function as the store brand but for different stores, right? And here you get one just called Ya, which is, you know, yes, right? It's just Ya. And they have a plain white label. with just "ya" in blue text, and it's everything from cola to actual food. Like this brand covers pretty much every range of goods, right? And it's just yes, that's all you need to know. The chocolate's pretty good. Good chocolate bars. Oh man, you're totally new. Oh, fresh as a baby. I mean, I guess that's the thing about 11 is there's nothing you really have to do if you don't want to. You kind of have to set your own goals of what you want out of the game, but I mean, if your goal is just leveling up, then keep on it. But I guess some things that might help you out, doing your nation missions. Like, the nation missions will definitely help you out. Trying to think what else. Well, I guess anything related to get your sub job. I'd assume you have it at 32. Then advanced jobs at 30, so there's that. Also, one sec. The wife has returned. So let me see where we're at. Okay, so she's gonna have cereal because, well, that's what we have. Oh. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. If you unlock Dark Knight, yeah, like, unlock advanced jobs you want to play, do those. Oh god, the actually, yeah, level 32. Yeah, you could do the Primivians if you wanted to. The first 3 are like, they're level capped at 30, right? Good luck. I too would like to do the Primivians. But I think the main thing is just nation missions. Like, that opens doors, it gives you more options, and it's good just so that your signet lasts longer. You can buy more advanced conquest point items. It's good to get that rank up. I mean, also, I guess since 32, yeah, I think you can party there, right? Have you gotten the airship pass for Kazam to go to the El Shimo Island region? You just need the keys from the first 3 dungeons in the game. That one's not too hard. Yeah, like, okay, so hey, there you go. There's something to work towards. Unlocking the El Shimo regions, to be able to travel there, that is a good advantage. There's things over there you might want, both for partying and fishing, if you do fishing, which, that's another thing, trade skills. Trade skills are pretty good. They're hard to level, but rewarding. Oh yeah, BCNMs, there's all kinds of stuff. I haven't done any BCNMs yet. And the airship keys, like, to get they're in the first 3 dungeons. So Palboro Mines near Bastok, Gideus near Winders, and Gelspa near Sandoria. I forget which enemies exactly drop the keys. You kind of have to consult the wiki for that, but certain enemies in those areas will drop keys, and chest keys, and they're meant for use in treasure chests, but they're also for the quest. It's not a hard one. It's just at level 30. I think the enemies you have to fight are like mid-20s, I think, so it could be a little tricky on that, but not impossible, not undoable. As a black mage, that's very soft and squishy indeed. Alright, let's see. So, right, I got a little distracted, so I wanted to change my sub-job from Red Mage to Beastmaster, because it doesn't look like there's any parties happening. Yeah, it looks like no parties are going on. So, I guess I'll just do a little soloing. Check my inbox. Oh, something sold! My slices of hare meat, which, oh yeah, by the way, if you want Gil, for whatever reason, madness has overtaken the land, hare meat that you can get from level 1 rabbits is selling for 4,200 Gil at least for every stack. So if you want easy money, get to killing some rabbits. Alright, well, I guess back out into the unknown. Oh, okay. That makes a little more sense then. Like, the thing is, I don't really get why hare meat has such a high value. Like, it is ridiculously easy to get hare meat. A level 1 can get hare meat. It's a common drop. Like, I don't, like, it should be selling for maybe 400 or 500 Gil tops, right? Per stack. I don't get how it has inflated so much. Well, oh god, Sky, like, yeah, that's above my head, And also, hey, I can help out doing stuff too. Oh god, now I change my sub job to Beastmaster, and now I get a party invite. But honestly, I think I'm gonna just solo it for now. I'm gonna just solo for now, I think. I've had, like, kind of weird luck with parties. Like, yesterday I joined a party and I all I really got out of it was I got killed. You know, it would have been safer to just stay solo. And this last party was okay, but it dissolved pretty fast. Oh yeah, actually that's something you can work on, is outposts. Which I don't know what nation state you are, but if you see that your nation controls a region, it is a good idea to get the outpost. You'll need it eventually. But yeah, I'm down to help out with stuff. Although again, my issue is the times I play at are, well, it can be weird for some people. Though in the moment, I'm not sure how much longer will be going on. That's actually why I declined the party invite. I don't know how much longer I have for today, so I'm not gonna. I can't really commit to anything. But I can solo. I can do that. And I'd like to get level 26 because I'm pretty close to it. So let's head on back out to Dunes. Return to Dunes. Also, I think, so this is like maybe a bad way to look at it. Don't look at base game completion, because the truth of the matter is there really is no completing anything in Final Fantasy XI. Not really. You're never really 100% done with anything in this game. Like, not even the nation missions. You might consider the nation missions to be base game, but, like, not really. And you can do them simultaneously as the expansion content. Like, the way this game works, like, you can do the Chains of Promathia stuff, well, as soon as you hit level 30. It doesn't, like, there's no prerequisites to that. Same goes for a lot of stuff in the game. And hey there, Vexus. I just did a little partying in the game here, but now I'm gonna solo. I'm gonna do a little White Mage Beastmaster solo. because I'm almost level 26. And oh yeah, I had a fine lunch of paprika seasoned lentil chips. A fine lunch. An exquisite lunch. Alright, so let me switch over to my Beastmaster set here. And I don't know if it really does anything, but equipping my charisma rings, my charisma ribbon, okay. Plus 7 charisma. And that's a level 20 sheep, I'll take it. And just yoink it. There we go. What level are the goblins here? They're 25, that's a little... I mean, I can probably do it, but it's a little unsafe. A little bit. I'm sticking to lizards and rabbits for now, just because they're easy. I mean, I can fight sheep and dragonflies if I feel like it, but it takes longer to kill them, and I don't know, I find kill speed is a little more important than just raw EXP that you get from the actual kills. But, oh. I don't know. Leveling up White Mage, I like to heal parties, I do. I like to be a support character. I like White Mage, I like Bard, I like those types of classes, but I find, especially during the times of day that I play, grouping is a little inconsistent. Like, I don't know if I'll get a group, or if I get a group, if they'll be functional. I don't know. So I tend to just sort of fall back to soloing a lot. It works. You know, what can I say? It works. I'm not sure if those will aggro together. Let's find out. Nope. Clean pull. Alright, see you later, you all. I'll have to play his game again sometime. I do want to check it out. It's had lots of updating. Alright, oh, I keep thinking I have access to the ready command. I don't have that when I'm a White Mage. Alright, so yeah, when I'm soloing with Beastmaster as a sub, this is the time. This is the time to cast all the spells you don't normally get to cast, like Banish. And to really get that melee on, right? Get that club and staff melee going. Ooh, a ghoul. What level's that? Level 22. I could fight the ghoul. I'm not sure it would be productive. See, I always have to kind of wager that. Like, if it's actually productive or not to fight an enemy. And yeah, sure, I can kill it, but at what cost? Oh wait, then again, I'm a White Mage, right? I could whip up a Divine Seal and slam it with a Cure 3, right? I'm pretty sure that would do some intense damage to it. Yeah, why not? Let's go for it. But maybe pull it back away from the goblin. Oh, damage numbers, they're in the config, which I can show it once I start the fight up and I kind of get this going. Okay, so let's see, they're in config. Let's see, let me see, which one are they under? miscellaneous, maybe? Yeah, they're under the first miscellaneous option. Damage display and on-screen damage display. I do both the log and the floating numbers. Oh, my sheep is almost dead. Huh. How about that? That was quick. Oh right, he's kind of killing himself on the ghoul. Alright, let's try it. Let's see how this works out. Divine Seal and Cure 3. So what does a charged up Cure 3 do? It fucking one-shots him, that's what it does. Nice. It feels good to kill an enemy with a cure spell. I mean, that is a classic Final Fantasy-ism, but yeah, no, it feels good. It feels real good. It'll never stop feeling good. Which, oh god, I have heard legend of white mage burn parties in this game. And I believe the tactic on that is to fight undead enemies and to have the white mages just like spam Cure 3, right? Like just spam cure spells on the undead enemy, and apparently it works out really well. Apparently. Also, quick starlight here. Yeah, I love this weapon skill. No damage, but it recovers MP, which is great. Alright, I could use a new pet. He's gonna hunt down a dragonfly or something. There should be some dragonflies nearby. Yeah, there we go. There's a fly. Let me make sure that it's not too high level. Yeah, that's just right. There we go. But, just thinking about it, I guess when it comes to making progress in Final Fantasy XI, just in general, I think, especially with modern games, they sort of drill in your head that progression is a straight line, or it's a staircase, a ladder, etc. But in this game, I find that progression does not, it doesn't necessarily mean getting higher level. That's a form of progression, and it does open many doors, but I find that progression, rather than just higher level or, I don't know, higher numbers on equipment, there's lots of elements to your character, and improving on those elements in some way, that's the progression. And that could be leveling up your trade skills so that you can desynthesize items that you find, make your own food and potions and stuff. I don't know, do your nation missions so you can buy more conquest items and Signet lasts longer, and you have access to more areas and stuff. Do your Primivians so that you have access to a whole region of the map. Like, there's lots of things you can do that will advance your character in some way, but it's very rarely like a straight line. It's very rarely just an objective number go up kind of thing. And I think that's, for the most part, one of the big things I like about this game. Not the only thing, but it's a big thing, I think. That the, I guess the proper term is horizontal progression, but it's more about that. And I think that's a little, I don't know, to me that's always a little more interesting and rewarding than the linear, just, you know, vertical progression. Like, oh, you get a sword, now you get a sword +1, and now a sword +2, and at a certain point, when you're at sword plus 53, the charm kind of wears off and you stop caring, right? It's like, oh, the number went up one. Great. Oh hey, a fellow Pokemon master. I will give them the customary wave. Alright, there you go. I really wish I wish the friends list functioned in some way in the game. Like, even if they had to, I don't know, do it through the launcher or whatever. I wish we could have functional friends lists. I really do. It would make keeping track of people and their characters, it would certainly make that a lot easier. But we do not get such a luxury here. Which, man, there's so many things about how FF11 was designed, like, strange design decisions on Square Enix's part. Well, like, yeah, like putting a lot of the kind of social functionality, like your friends list, in the Play Online launcher, not the game itself. And so, everyone emulating these servers, like, well, yeah, you emulate the server, not Play Online, right? So no friends list anymore. But also, why was it in the launcher in the first place? Though I do miss Tetramaster. Okay, look, that was really fun. But the fact that they put the Tetramaster card game in the launcher and not as something like that you could play in the game, like, well, like FF14, they do Triple Triad in-game, right? I wish we could play Tetramaster in FF11. I wish we could still do that. If it was ever made into a proper mini-game, like Triple Triad, I would be all over that. That would be all I care about. Well, so let's see. Okay, my EXP ring is still on, but alright, well, I don't know, I'm less than 900 away from level 26. I'll shoot for that. That's my goal for today, I guess. And I'll do it all on my own as a solo healer. Man, I love Starlight. That is a good ability. I also feel like it wasn't always something you could use at such a low level, but that's okay. That's fine by me. Oh, it's dead already. It died real fast. There's a goblin over there. So, pull it back a little bit. And hey there, just passing. Just passing through. I like how the name is gray. At least on my screen, it's gray. So it's like just passing through this anonymous gray stranger. But let's see. Once I get my level, I'm trying to think what I want to do next. I will have been playing FF11 for quite a while at that point. I don't know, we might switch games to something else, or if I can think of something I really want to do that isn't going to be a huge time commitment with this, I might, I don't know, maybe go fishing or something, I don't know. We'll see, but we'll see. But right now I'm just focused on getting level 26. Zanio. Oh. I know it's easy to allow Final Fantasy XI to consume you, but it's a fun game, you know? It's fun. Also, I love Beastmaster. Not everyone does, but I love it. Beastmaster is my main class, and even when I'm not playing as a Beastmaster, I still sub-job it so that I can solo. Like, even if you don't love it, there's a lot of quality of life to having Beastmaster leveled up. But yeah, FF11 is one of those games kind of, I don't know, there's a few games I can think of like that there's so much to do, and there's always something that you could be doing, right? So it's easy to spend more time playing than you want to. I mean, hell, the one Primivian that I did, I stayed up till 2 in the morning with that group. Alright, I sacrificed sleep for that. But to be fair, it was on the weekend when I can, you know, it was on the weekend when we don't have much going on and we can do that, but... But yeah, it's that kind of game. I kind of look at it like this, though. It's a game that I feel is worth my time enough to do that, right? Like, I would... like, I don't care who you are. I would not stay up till 2 in the morning for anybody in Final Fantasy XIV, alright? Oh, I never got to play any version of Phantasy Star Online. I knew people way back in the day that loved Phantasy Star, and I'm not sure which version of the game that was. I have no idea, but I know some people, they really love the Phantasy Star Online franchise. Like, they love it, and I just never really had any exposure to it. Not even Estinian. Look, okay. I am one of those people that doesn't like the story of Final Fantasy XIV. I just don't care enough, right? It's not my kind of thing. I will admit, whenever a cutscene would happen, I would just hit the skip button. I admit it. But I think, yeah, you have to look at the kind of games that I really get into and enjoy, you know? Oh god, there's still people online on the Dreamcast? Like through emulation? Or like, how did they do that? But I think, okay, to get to like why I actually do like the story more in this game than 14, although I'm not a huge story guy, but let me explain why. Hold up, put down the pitchforks and torches. So, for me, the kind of games that I like, I tend to like more open sandbox style games, even single player, right? Like one of my favorite single player games is, well, Daggerfall, right? And that is high sandbox right there. More so than other Elder Scrolls games, even. I tend to like simulation games too, like where there's lots of procedural stuff, and I tend to like games where in one form or another you kind of make your own story through your actions and the things that happen to you and around you, and that you do also, but just through natural gameplay, right? Like, you make your own story. I tend to prefer that over being given like a scripted narrative. I'm not against scripted narratives, and I've seen some very good ones, very interesting ones, but unless you are super interesting to me, I tend to prefer the more freeform, and then make my own, make my own bullshit story up, right? That's what I tend to prefer. Because, okay, I think about it like this, right? When I think about games, especially online games, like, especially the online ones, when I think about moments that I remember for decades after, it's not the scripted story stuff in online games. It's the things that happen naturally between the players, like through circumstance and gameplay with the players, right? It was making kind of our own little story. That's what stands out in my mind. Like, I don't know, let's see. I'm thinking early memories here, right? And, oh, I remember, one of my first MMO memories that really stand out is when friends back in school, back in the day, when Ultima Online was the new hotness. So that gives you an idea how long ago that was. But I remember friends jumping me into their guild in Ultima Online, and then fucking with me, and like, with my character, I was just interested in like the non-combat stuff. Like, oh man, you can just go out and be a lumberjack. You know, you could just chop trees down and make things, and oh, that's cool. And then, like, all of a sudden, I get jumped out of the shadows by one of my friends, and they just floor me with like a fireball, and then chop my body up in front of me and. And arrange the body parts in a funny manner on the ground. Oh yeah, good, funny joke. But see, that's like, that is just a thing that happened between players, right? And it stands out strong enough to me that I still remember it, right? But the actual, like, lore and story of Ultima Online, I can't remember anything. So gathering in this is a little bit, it's very specific. Like, if you want to, like, chop trees or mine ore, there are specific gathering points that you have to go to. They are bright, shiny, sparkly, marked harvesting points. But they only appear in certain locations, and I'm not exactly sure where those locations are. You'd have to wiki it, but like, I know one of the places you can log is in Gelspa Outpost near Sandoria, and I'm sure there's some points in the Ronfar Forest too. But yeah, you'd have to kind of look up where exactly the points are. But you need equipment, and you need picks or hatchets in order to harvest, and those do break. You want to have the field gear so that you have less of a chance of your stuff breaking, but it'll still break, and you'll be spending a lot of money on hatchets and picks. It's something you have to kind of invest into a little bit before you really get it going. I'd say if you want to gather, fishing is much easier to get into. Like significantly easier and less expensive initially. But even fishing, like, yeah, you need to have a good pole, good bait, like, it's an investment no matter what. Like, no matter what you want to gather. Let's see, I'm trying to think other kind of early MMO memories. Because some things really stand out. Oh yeah, the first time that I encountered a... So I remember the first time I encountered a ninja looter in an MMO. That would have been in EverQuest. It's just the first time someone just makes off with a nice item that drops, right? But then I have memories of being the ninja looter too, and that one stands out a lot. Like in EverQuest, I was poor constantly because it's a game like this where money has a lot of value and you always need something, right? But in EverQuest, I remember distinctly being in a group and like it wasn't even high level or anything, right? But we killed a named monster and it dropped a battle axe, a magic battle axe. And like I didn't know what it was, I didn't know how much it was worth. All I knew is that that is a rare item and I can hawk it for something, right? So like the moment I saw it, I grabbed it and I just fucking ran. Like I grabbed the battle axe out of the loot and I just ran out of there, right? Like look, it was a different time, alright? The funny thing is that I couldn't even sell the axe, like nobody, it wasn't that good and nobody really wanted it, and that game doesn't have like it doesn't have an auction house or anything, so I was just kind of like, I had to yell around like, hey, I'm selling this magic axe, anybody want to buy? And of course, the people that got had were like, don't buy that, he stole it, that's stolen goods. Look, I learned many a life lesson that day, alright? Stealing is wrong, unless you can do it without getting caught, of course. Then it's A-okay. Then it's just good business sense. But yeah, for me it's those are the kind of things that really stand out in the long run and make those kind of permanent gamer memories, if you will. But like an actual storyline in a game, especially an MMO, that never really sticks for me. You know, it's nice to have. I do appreciate having, like, I appreciate a game having deep lore and all that, and having things you can get invested in, but as for an actual storyline with characters and stuff, that's, to me, that, it just never really lasts, because I don't know, it doesn't feel as real, right? Because it's a script meant to play out for you. But the things you do with other players, that's, you know, that is real, that is the story you make. And hey there, Mike. Yeah, I kind of miss the Wild West days of looting, though. Like, there was a certain fun in being able to just pick up items off of a corpse and run off with it, right? Or having the risk of that happen. It made for some funny, unique situations, alright? It made for interesting times. Also, I noticed that my EXP ring wore off, so let me slap that on again. Like, look, dealing with ninja looters, it was fun. It was fun, Dan. And also, oh, trains, too. I mean, actually, FF11 used to have trains, too. Like, people, like, if you had aggro from a bunch of enemies and you ran to the zone line, in FF11, like, the enemies used to walk back to where they were, and they would aggro anything in the way. I think that's changed now, but it used to work like that. And that's kind of how it used to work in games like EverQuest, too. So you'd have people training the zone line and just killing every poor newbie along the way. Oh, it was wonderful. Oh, the EXP rings are they are from the Conquest NPCs, the gate guards that give you signet and everything. They're like the level 0 common items that you can get off of the Conquest guys. I think it's like 1,000 or 2,000, something like that, to get the Empress ring. There's like 3 different kinds of rings, but they all more or less amount to the same thing. More or less. Oh, like they should. When I level up, I can go back to town and kind of double check that, but yeah, they should show up as like the rank 0 items. You might have to scroll through the list. I forget, but I can check that in a minute. I'm just trying to finish off level 26 here. Oh yeah, one more kill will do it for me. So let's go all out on this rabbit. Just fuck him up. Like, I am trying to think if there's any sort of rank requirement to get the ring. I am wondering, because I don't think I bought the ring till I was rank 2. But rank 2 is easy to get, but I don't think there's any requirement, because it's in with the rank 0 stuff. We'll have to double check. Oh, give him the hard bonk. Alright, that should be a level. Yep. Got my precious slices of hare meat. Huh. Well, no, I was gonna go back to town anyway. My plan for right now was to get level 26, and then go back to town and kind of reassess what I want to do exactly. I've been playing Final Fantasy XI for a few hours now, so I'm not sure if I wanted to just switch what I'm doing in the game, or if I wanted to maybe, you know, maybe check out Turtle WoW again, or maybe City of Heroes. I'm not sure. Like, I was thinking maybe, you know, maybe change games, maybe just go fishing. Not sure what I want to do, but I want to go back to town anyway to kind of, you know, sell off the unnecessary stuff, check the auction house, all that good stuff. So it's an easy trip while I'm there. Ooh, nice, nice. Which again, I have that goldfish memory. I don't know, call it streamer brain, because people come and go so much, right? But I forget if it was mentioned what class you're going for this time around. Ah, Toma. So the thing is, or Tom. I don't know. I decided Tom. I decided you're Tom. That's right. Like streamer brain. Well, that, and also it's like 27 Celsius here, so my brain's probably cooking a little bit right now. But I actually have only ever played World of Warcraft on the Turtle WoW private server. I somehow managed to never play WoW on retail ever. And I only tried it for the first time on Turtle WoW, and I have a lot of fun with that. But their version of World of Warcraft is a bit unique, but I like it. It's fun. Ah, okay, so you're going warrior and then to paladin. Oh boy, that's gonna be real expensive. Like, okay, there's a dude in my link shell here, I forget which one, but he's a paladin, and like every like 10 or so levels he totally upgrades all of his gear. It's like, whew, just spent another 400k upgrading my gear. Because the thing is, if you're gonna tank, like you need pretty good gear to tank, or otherwise you're gonna die really hard. Yeah, Paladin's gonna be real expensive. I guess not as expensive as Ninja though, so you got that. Oh yeah, I've heard of the Ascension WoW server. I should check that out, but I don't know, like I really like what Turtle WoW is doing. like, it's that sort of idea of making like the classic original vision of the game, but then taking it in a different direction. I mean, kind of the sort of thing that Horizon is doing with FF11, kind of, right? I appreciate those sort of unique community projects. I like that. Yeah, I get you, Mike. I only leveled Ninja up to 37 to use it as a sub job, and I don't plan to touch it anymore. But, I do find there is a lack of tank jobs in this game, although technically the same is true for healer. I mean, technically, the only real healer in this game is White Mage. Like, that is the healer, right? A Red Mage can heal too, but it's the alternative, right? It's the if you gotta. And I think it's kind of the same with Paladin and other classes. Like, yeah, Paladin and maybe Ninja are the tanks, and then Warrior can tank, but it's like a if you have to kind of thing. But that's just how FF11's always been. There's tons of DPS classes and then only like 1 or 2 tank and heal jobs. That's just how it is. So let me just do a quick check at the at the gate guard here. So when I say I want to spend my conquest points, well, I got 12,000. That's nice. So yeah, it should be common items, all ranks. And then, okay, you got your scroll of re-raise, warp, return ring, the home ring. Yeah, there it is. The chariot band, empress band, emperor band. Yeah, they're right on the first page. And there are multiple pages, so I don't know. What is this Imperial chair set? What is that? A small do-it-yourself kit used in the construction of the eponymous chair. Huh. I'm kind of curious what that's for exactly, but yeah, it's for sit chair. But I already have a chair. I don't need a better chair. Yeah, you gotta remember to scroll. It's the same with, like, teleports. Like, they only show 3 teleports at a time, but I have, like, dozens, right? So I have to scroll through multiple pages to see all my teleports. Oh, a shinier chair. But also, yeah, Tom, I find that with a lot of games, I mean a lot of classic games, people think they want They think they want classic EverQuest, classic Ultima, classic Final Fantasy XI, whatever. Like, people think they want that. And, you know, don't get me wrong, the classic version of these games, you know, back in the day, we loved it, we played the hell out of it, it was great, right? But it's not just a times change thing, it's a players change kind of thing. And, like, while the idea, the spirit of the classic game, we all want that, I don't think we really want everything exactly like it was, right? You know? Yeah, exactly. It is kind of the think you do but you don't meme. It kind of. But I think about, like, FF11 here, and honestly the changes that, like, Horizon have made, like, making resting faster, yes, it doesn't need to take, like, 5 minutes to rest your MP bar up. That doesn't really prove anything. You know, you still have to wait, like, you know, if you really spend it all, you still have to wait, like, maybe 2 minutes, right? That gets the point home, but you don't have to wait 5 minutes, right? That's just excessive. And it's, like, a lot of the little changes, it's like, yeah, that's for the better, right? And, from what I've seen of Turtle WoW, and while I never played original WoW, I have done some research to see what they've changed and why, and yeah, I get it, right? I get it. Because what I find is, when you go back and play things in their purest form, you can still have fun with it, but you'll find it's not nearly as fun for one reason or another as you remember it. I know, that, yeah, I would love to try the adventuring fellow, I would. But I think, okay, here's a really good example, and I guess we're just in town thinking what I want to do. Which also, if I didn't say already, hey there, Wantaru. Pronunciation, I can't do it. But, okay. Project 1999 Classic EverQuest. I actually play on Project 1999 a little bit. I have characters on the blue, green, and red server. And I do enjoy it every now and then. It is fun. But as much as like Classic EverQuest is fun, there is so much bullshit in it. There is so much that keeps it from really being fun, right? And like, as you play, you'll constantly be saying to yourself, why does this work like this? You know, why couldn't we just maybe tighten this up, do this, slight improvement here and there? Like, when you play games like that, you'll find that you are constantly pointing out things to yourself that could be better, right? Without ruining the feel of the game, without making it a modern game but with shitty graphics. There's things that could be tightened up and improved, right? And I think a lot of people, they look at changes like that as being a bit sacrilegious. That, you know, you cannot touch it, it must remain pure. But really, even people like that, you don't really want that pure experience. Not really. And also, yeah, morning Juan. Juan. I'm gonna settle on Juan for now. I'm sorry. It's 27 degrees in here. I'm cooking alive. I can barely concentrate on the game in front of me. But, I don't know, I think the idea of a classic plus, an era plus, whatever you want to call it, I think it's for the better. And not just to tighten things up, but also to kind of keep things fresh again, right? Like, one of the things I really like about Horizon here is the things that they have changed and done. Even simple things like just changing where certain camps of enemies are, it helps to make the experience fresh again. Because half the fun back in the day was the more exploratory part of gaming, right? There weren't wikis for everything, nobody really knew what they were doing, and half the fun was just kind of finding and exploring things for the first time. You know, figuring it out on your own. And nowadays, like, if you make like a classic version of a classic game, there are wikis out the ass for that kind of thing. Everything is documented, tested, archived, proven. There's not really many surprises to a game like that. So mixing things up a little bit, I think that can help just to make the experience feel a little more fresh, give you a little bit of that feeling that you had back in the day of really not knowing what's going on. It can help to give even old players that feel yet again. At least that's sort of how I look at it. But then again, there are people that just want to play the same game forever, and that's honestly nothing wrong with that either. I mean, I can think of a lot of single-player games that every now and then I just play them to play them, right? And they never change, and that's fine. You know, so sometimes that's what you want. But I feel like maybe MMOs are not the best place for that type of experience, just because they're a more social, dynamic thing in general. They always were, even back in the day. Just getting rid of some things here. I feel like if I could get a full stack of lizard skins, that might be worth something, but not sure. Also, goddamn this Link show. Goddamn him. Oh wait, we're number 1, right? Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, Sandoria number 1. So the little carnival people, they've come here yet again. I'm just gonna use them to sell my stuff. This Lethine cabbage, I don't know. I'm probably not gonna find a full stack of those. I don't really care to sell them on the auction house, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. Yeah, the rabbit hide's not worth much in the first place. None of this is really worth all that much. The lizard tails actually sell for more to an NPC than to other players, which is interesting. Alright, looks good. Alright, So yeah, I'm thinking what I want to do exactly. It's gonna be a little while till dinner here, so I can probably go a bit longer. I'm not 100% sure on that, we'll see. But, I've been playing FF11 for so long, I think maybe, I don't know, I could go fishing or something, but I'm thinking maybe switch over to another game, like, well, there's always things to do with City of Heroes, you know, or Turtle WoW, or God help me, I could go check out Star Wars Galaxies again. Which that... Okay, you know what? Speaking of the classic experience and wanting it, but not really wanting it, I feel like nothing exemplifies that more than Star Wars Galaxies. I loved that game in its original form, and I still think there's value to be had in that. But, every private server that I have ever seen for Star Wars Galaxies, they either use the more modernized gameplay, or if they use the classic gameplay, no one really interacts with it. Like, the whole point of Star Wars Galaxies was that you had a galaxy full of players taking on the various just normal everyday roles that you would see in the Star Wars universe, like being the entertainers in the cantina, or a doctor in a clinic, or whatever, right? Like that's what made it interesting to me, and to a lot of people. Like, it was fun back in the day being a smuggler that does a little bit of dancing on the side, right? Like Han Solo, but also a male stripper. And, you know, like, hanging out in the cantina and also peddling drugs to people in it. And then maybe after that go out and shoot at some Imperials or whatever, right? But, you know, that was fun. Like, the whole, like, how all of these elements came together was fun. But every private server I've ever seen, yeah, nobody does that. Like, the cantinas are empty, the clinics are empty, everybody is just being a Jedi or whatever, right? They're just end-game grinding and ignoring 99% of the game. Yeah, I know, right? Like, yeah, you get to be a Jedi, and you get to be a Jedi, and... But, like, the thing is, like, people say they want that classic Star Wars Galaxies experience. They say they want it, but every private server I've seen that still uses the original system, yeah, there's no entertainers, there's no doctors or nothing. Like, everybody's just endgame grinding. So, clearly, even though people say they want that, they don't really. I don't know. It's weird. Oh, I never got to play Jump to Light Speed. I played Star Wars Galaxies when it first came out, and I will admit I quit the game before they did any of, like, the major combat revamps or anything. But part of the reason I quit, one of the reasons is I started playing City of Heroes, and you guys know how much I love that game. Well, the ones of you that have been around for a while. But it was also that the holocron grind. I remember the holocron grind, and all of a sudden, people stopped giving a shit about entertainers, about doctors, about architects and droid engineers. All of a sudden, everybody just lost their mind, and they wanted to grind holocrons to unlock Jedi. And that made the general quality of the game and the community just did a nosedive. And it was one of the things that pushed me away, and then, you know, pushed me to City of Heroes, right? And yeah, like, I think, I'm gonna be honest, a controversial opinion here at the end of our little Final Fantasy XI session. I think the very concept of the end game, I think it's the worst thing that's ever happened to, like, social online games. Like, the concept that the bulk of the game is worthless, completely irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the end game grind, the end raid or whatever, right? I think that concept, it just ruins a lot of game worlds. It takes you out of it, and it just brings everything down. When I think about classic MMOs, the most fun that I have in classic games is not at the high end. It's the introductory experience. It's the intro and mid-level experience. Like, some of my fondest memories in Final Fantasy XI are, you know, that first time that I entered the game in Bastok, which I always went Bastok. And, you know, just navigating the city and being blown away with how huge it is and how much there is to do, and oh my god, where do I start? And then finally finding the newbie zone and, you know, smashing my first few tunnel worms and bees and stuff, right? And slowly earning a few crystals that I can sell, and, well, after I figure out that I should get Signet, right? You know, scraping together a few coins so that I could afford a shitty weapon to kill things a little bit better, maybe some spells, right? Like, there was a certain magic in that, and then building up to the dunes and the nonsense there, and like those early experiences are some of my fondest in FF11, kind of figuring it all out for the first time, right? And I could say the same thing about Ultima, EverQuest, Star Wars Galaxies, like all of these games. It was really the early and mid experience that kind of really shaped my memories of those games. And it's kind of funny, because a lot of people consider games like that so slow that, like, the early game, like in EverQuest, what's the early game? Like, you just go outside of town and kill rats. Right? And for some people, that's all they see, is you're just going out killing rats. What's the fun? But for me, there's like a mysticism around all of it. There's just figuring out what or why you're supposed to do anything, and then, you know, doing it and scraping together coins to try to get slightly better stuff, and meeting other people on the same journey as you. And making little acquaintances and all that. Like, I don't know, like, that, to me, that is such an experience. To me, that's way better than any sort of end game raid or whatever. I never did end game raiding in EverQuest or anything like that. I never got, like, past level 30, I think, in EverQuest. But it was a blast the whole time through. Yeah, you just kill giant rats till you get to end game. That's... But no, like, like I think that journey and that journey with other players is so important. It's why I like older games, because they tend to put more emphasis on that. But yeah, then Endgame comes along, and it's like now everything is boring and old hat, and people stop caring about the game world, and you know how it, like they stop caring about the journey, and it becomes grinding whatever token for, you know, for the day. And I don't know, like, to me the very concept of Endgame, it kind of ruins everything. But some people, that's all they live for, so I don't know. Anyway, before I go too deep down the rant hole, I should probably, I don't know, I did a lot of FF11 today. I could just go fishing for like an hour, right? I could do that. I would like to catch more black eels and level up that fishing skill, but it's probably not a great use of my time. Well, I guess that is a way to look at it. Like, if there's nothing to do at the end, then people will just leave. But I kind of find that people leave anyway, even if there is an endgame grind, because they start burning out on it. Like, I mean, that's kind of what happened with me in FF14, is I by no means maxed out my character ever, but like at a certain point, logging into Final Fantasy XIV became log in, do extreme or savage raid, log out. You know, and that's at a certain point that stopped being fun. Whether I maxed it out or not, that just wasn't fun, right? And not many of the other activities in the game really interested me, so I think it's you do need things to do when you've kind of finished leveling up or skilling up, or like however the game monitors progress, right? Yeah, 14. Log in, cap tomes, log out. And you can see how at a certain point that stops being fun. But I guess here's the thing, right? When it comes to things to do, that doesn't have to be like raiding or whatever. I think back to Ultima Online, and I played Ultima Online a lot, but I never really did the combat stuff all that much. Now, Ultima Online did not have proper levels, it had skills. And so, okay, let's say my character is, well, one of my characters was like a lumberjack. I was a lumberjack and carpenter and all that, right? Like, that's where my skill points went. And once I maxed those out, I mean, okay, I couldn't level them up anymore, so then I just, well, I collected logs, I built furniture and stuff, I built a house, I built a boat, and my end game, if you will, was kind of logging in, you know, checking up on my house, feed my animals, you know, hop on my boat, go fishing, take up fishing, you know, like just fish around the world, catching exotic fish, right? And, you know, there's no real end to that, right? But there's no real beginning either, and but it's a thing you can do, and it's meaningful, right? Like, you make gold, so you just need things that feel meaningful that you can do. They don't necessarily have to be like a specific type of content. I think as long as you have that, you have something that'll keep players there if they're invested in the community, and I think the community is the big factor. Oh yes, I know, Final Fantasy XIV has a really big community for doing things. A certain type of roleplay, if you will. But if you're not into that, then your options are a little more limited. I think the main thing, like, so okay, the reason that I never, like, generally, in games like this, I can get really into the non-combat game, right? Like the trade skilling, fishing, whatever. I can get really into it, but the reason that I can get into it is that it feels meaningful. When I go fishing in this game, like right now, I could go out and go fishing, and I can catch fish that sell for about 200 gil to NPCs. Like, I could fund my gear just by fishing and selling it, like, as vendor trash, right? And I am a low-level fisher. But that makes the fishing have value. It makes it so that, oh, if I catch something, I can either do something with it, or I can just sell it for, like, a real profit, right? Just anything. The same goes for mining, you know, harvesting, whatever. Anything I do in this game, because it has a healthy economy, there's some value in there, and you can feel like, oh, I could log in and just fish, and I get something of value there, right? And also, I just enjoy fishing, but it works, right? In Final Fantasy XIV, I maxed out all the crafts and everything, and I'm gonna be blunt. Even as a maxed out crafter-gatherer, I felt like everything I could possibly do was just completely worthless. Like, any fish I could catch, unless it was a very specific end-game type of fish or whatever, it was worth nothing. If I could gather something, like, oh, you gathered, like, you know, 100 silver ore, it's worth, like, 1 gil each. Great. Yeah, but like, again, also gil has no real meaning in 14. Like, I never really felt like I had to buy anything, you know? Like, I never had to buy anything, so it never really had value in the first place. But you see the problem there. Like, why would I want to, like, look, role-playing as, like, a simple townsfolk, right? It can be fun. It's what I did in Ultima Online. You know, I basically LARPed as a lumberjack slash woodsman carpenter slash world-traveling fisherman, and that was fun. But it was fun because the things I could do had value both to me and to other players. In FF14, I don't really feel like anything I do has any value to anyone. So, like, why would I want to LARP being the village blacksmith if that has absolutely no purpose, right? That's kind of what I mean. That's what I mean when I say you need some meaningful activities to do. Like, they don't have to be epic or anything, but they need to be meaningful both in the game world and to the players in the game. And that's where I felt 14 lacked. To be fair, that's where a lot of games lack. A lot of games have that problem. Yeah, that's pretty much the thing in 14. Like, yeah, you could buy the gear, or you could just do dungeons, get tomes, and then get all the gear for free. And it'll be better too. Actually, the tome gear will be better. So, do you want to pay gil for this gear, or do you want to get better gear for free? That's a tough one. I don't know. I gotta think about that one. Well, that's the thing, and I found that right there is the problem with FF14, is everything only has value on, like, week 1 of new patch. After week 1, it's all worthless trash. Like, yeah, week 1, that crafted gear is really valuable. Week 2, people are throwing it in the garbage bin. And it's the same for everything in Final Fantasy XIV. Like, the first week or 2 of a patch, yeah, things are worth something. And then immediately people are just throwing that shit in the trash because it's worthless. That's my problem. Like, you can't, that's not a healthy economy. Like, that is a completely dysfunctional economy. Like, that is the definition of dysfunction. Yeah, no, see, the thing is, in this game, right? Like, in this game, there are items that you will get at, like, level 10, and you will be wearing that possibly for the rest of your life. Depending on what what build you're going for. Like, there are items that you will hold on to, and you'll want to have them, and you'll want to hold on to them. They don't just get immediately replaced, you know? I understand the sentiment, but I feel like in 14, if you kind of take a step back and look at it from a very practical standpoint, you can see that, yeah, like, long term, as far as the economics of the game go, it doesn't really go anywhere. It only goes down. But with a game like this, it tends to be the opposite. Like, prices only go up. Sometimes. But it's mostly that, like, you know, things in this, because it's not a vertical progression game, there's always some reason to have every item. There's always some place for it. And so the economy stays pretty healthy in FF11, you know, even, well, yeah, like, even if there's no updates to the game ever, right? And I just find that for sort of investing myself in the game, I find that I need something like this where the economy is not dependent on the current patch cycle, you know? I like for the game world to be a little more stable than that. But again, that's it's how I prefer it. It's what I like. Yeah, I will say, I don't like the concept of item level in any game that does it. I'm gonna be honest, that's not a Final Fantasy XIV exclusive problem. That's a problem in a lot of games, and I don't like the idea of just putting a direct tag on your overall power level, right? Because then the game becomes about nothing but increasing that item level, or equipment level, gear score, whatever. Like, individual things stop mattering, and it becomes, no, you need to be this item level total, and at that point it just becomes a game of making number go up, and I've never really found that enjoyable in any game that does that. Like, I get why games do that, but it's, for me, I found that too much is lost for that type of progression. It simplifies it too much. I prefer games like this, or games that are even more freeform than this. Like, again, it's why I like City of Heroes so much. Like, City of Heroes doesn't really have equipment at all. It has enhancements, and it's not about, like, the level of it, it's about what you're enhancing, right? Like, it's about combining enhancements to get specific bonuses in certain ways and changing how your character plays. Like, there is no, like, item level or any real number on your power. But I kind of prefer that. And then, I don't know, you have stuff like Ultima Online where, yeah, there aren't even character levels. There's no levels, like, there's no raw statistical numbers on anything. Oh yeah, the elemental staff and what they do for avatars, like, oh yeah, that's some good stuff. On Eden, I have a summoner, like, level 51, like, exactly 51, and I got all those elemental staves, and man, like, it completely changed how I play Summoner. Just totally changed it. I wish I could get my hands on the carbuncle mitts at some point. Like, carbuncle mitts aren't a high-level item, but they completely change how Summoner plays. But that said, elemental staffs are a lot more expensive on Horizon. On Eden, I barely paid anything for them, but if I were to just take a quick look, like, how expensive are elemental staffs? Like, just the basic ones. Let's see, they'd be under staves. Here we go. So I think they're usually, like, towards the bottom. Let's see. Well, there's the... Okay, here's some of them. Like, that's the one for Earth. The one that you really want is the light staff. right? The light staff is the one that you really want, but I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's a little further up. Here we go. Okay, so the light staff. So this is like the basic one that you want. So, okay, light staff, level 51. The main takeaway from this item is that it increases cure potency by 10%. Additional light damage, like makes light magic better. But for a summoner, for example, it lowers the avatar perpetuation cost for Carbuncle, which is huge. And it's the same for every like element. And I believe the higher, like the high quality version does the same thing, but better. So let's see, the light staff costs 280k. Man, that is a lot more expensive than on Eden. It's like 10% of that on Eden. Good lord. Now how much, okay, so how much is the better version of that? 700k, damn near $1 million. But yeah, that's like these elemental staffs, those are items that once you get them, like, you're pretty much gonna hold on to them forever. Like, there will always be a use case for these elemental staffs. Even though they're only level 51, you will most certainly be using them all the way up to 75 and beyond. I think there's like a version of the staff that combines them too, isn't there? Like, I think there's a version that combines them all together. I forget what that one's called though. Yeah, I forget what the staff that kind of combines them is, but I'd assume that staff costs way more. Like, I'd assume that is a much, much, much more expensive staff. Also, let's see, I wonder how much is Pluto staff, the dark one. Oh, that one's a little cheaper. Yeah, that one's a little cheaper, only about $500,000. There's certain items like, oh, for Beastmaster, because, you know, I like Beastmaster, right? The Monster Signa is a staff I remember being like, it's really good for charisma, right? Yeah, the Monster Signa. It's only level 17, but it gives +8 charisma. It's really good if you need to charm. So it's good for Beastmaster, but it's also good for any class that can sub Beastmaster. So, you know, you get that charisma boost for charming. And Bard, it's really good for Bards. How much is the Monster Signa? It's also about $500,000. Yeah, about $500,000 for that. A level 17 item. But that level 17 item, you're gonna use that for a very long time. Like, I don't think there's really much of anything that can give you more than +8 charisma on your weapon slot. Like, I don't think there's much more you can do that'll give you that much charisma. But yeah, like that's kind of what I mean. Like, the progression isn't. It's not like a linear thing where, oh, you get the level 17 one and then the level 25 one, and you know, no, you'll be using that level 17 Monster Signa forever. That's why it's so goddamn expensive. But I kind of prefer that type of progression. I think the main thing is, and this is, like, it's not just Final Fantasy XIV. I kind of experienced this playing EverQuest 2 as well. And EverQuest 2 has a lot in common with FF14 in a way. But a problem that I would have in games like that is, okay, you take the time to do the hard content to get, like, I don't know, imaginary number, to get level 100 gear, right? And oh, you're so proud of it, it feels good. And then maybe 3 months later, oh, now there's level 110 gear. Oh, well, all my level 100 gear is just trash then. Well, I guess I have to do that again. No biggie. I'll try real hard and I'll get that 110 gear. And then you take the time and energy to do that. And then, 2 or 3 months pass. Hey, level 120 now. And the thing is, after that cycle happening a few times, I just sort of had this feeling, right? And tell me, anybody who's played similar games, I bet you felt it too, where instead of being excited for a new content update, you had a looming feeling of dread. Because when that next patch drops, oh, everything I did is worthless now. And now I have to go through all of that again to basically get the same thing, but with a higher number on it. And at a certain point, you start dreading new content. And that's when the game stops being fun. Yeah, I feel like anybody who's played games like that, you know the feeling. Like, it's fun for a while. Like for a few cycles, you're on board and you like it, it's refreshing. But then at a certain point, it's sometimes longer for some people than others, but at a certain point, the dread kicks in, and it's not a good feeling. With games like this, I never felt that. Like, I think back to EverQuest, right? And I joined EverQuest when Ruins of Kunark came out. And then, again, I never hit max level, right? But I remember when the Velius expansion came out, I was excited. And the thing is, the expansion did not increase the level cap. It wasn't just endgame content, a lot of it was, but it also added content to the game at every level. Like, it added little things to the game all around. For a lot of games that I've played, I would feel excited when new expansions or big patches would come. City of Heroes. Like, every time City of Heroes had a big issue, which is their patches, when they had a big issue update, it was exciting because you would realize that there's going to be all kinds of new fun things to do at all level ranges. It's going to be great, right? And that's what I want when I play an online game. I want to feel really good for new content. I don't want to feel like, oh god, Jesus, not again. I just got out of the fucking mines. I don't want to go back in again. I just got done with that. Don't make me go back. That's what you don't want. And that's the feeling I get in most modern games. Yeah, you gotta get that gold purse. You gotta... I mean, again, I did enjoy... Like, I enjoy a lot of the boss fights in Final Fantasy XIV, but at a certain point, even the boss fights started feeling the same for me. And at a certain point, it was just higher number, and for me personally, higher number doesn't really mean anything. Let me give you an example here. I think this is what taught me that higher numbers mean nothing. Playing Oblivion, right? Playing the Elder Scrolls Oblivion taught me that numbers mean nothing because of level scaling. But even without level scaling, the same holds true. Like, let's say at, again, imaginary numbers, let's say at level 10, you deal 10 damage to enemies, and they have 100 health. And then, I don't know, at level 20, you now deal 20 damage to enemies, but now they have 200 health. Yes, number goes up, but effectively, nothing has changed. Right? It's still gonna take you 10 hits to kill the enemy. Nothing has changed. Just, you see a bigger number on your screen. And for some people, that's all they need. But for me, playing games like Oblivion, I quickly learned that that doesn't mean anything. So, like, I've played RPGs where you're hitting enemies for, like, 10 billion damage, right? But enemies have, like, trillions of HP, right? And it doesn't matter. I sort of realized that. Yeah, like level scaling can feel bad. It doesn't have to. I've played games with level scaling that they feel fine, because your character will get powerful in ways that aren't just about numbers. So it can feel good, but yeah, I come to learn that bigger number doesn't really make me feel better. Unless it has a meaningful impact, like playing a black mage in Final Fantasy XI. The few times I've done it, it's felt amazing. It's a lot like I have more experience with Wizard in EverQuest. It's the same principle of doing gigantic damage really fast. And see, it feels good in games like this because, yes, enemies get more health as you level up, but relatively speaking, those classes deal they deal absurdly more damage, right? So it feels good. Like you're not dropping 1,000,000 damage on an enemy, which amounts to like 1% of its health bar. No, you're like nuking it for half its health bar in a single hit. That feels good. Like in EverQuest, as a wizard in EverQuest, you can drop hard enemies in like 3 hits. Whereas like other people, they have to slowly chip away at enemies, like, oh, they'll be fighting for like 3 minutes. And as a wizard, like 10 seconds, dead. Enemies just disintegrated. No, that feels good, right? So it depends, you know, it all depends, but it's more about a feel there. Oh yeah, FF8 had that level scaling, but it was so easy to abuse. Which, by the way, if we're talking Final Fantasy, and we've ranted a little more than I wanted to, I was gonna rant while playing maybe City of Heroes or something, but since we're talking about whatever, right? But, I kind of love FF8. I actually kind of like the world setting. I find it interesting, even if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I actually really like the junction system because it lets you break the game in incredible ways. Like it's so wonderful how you can break that game. Yeah, in a lot of ways, 8 is my favorite, both in terms of like world setting and all that, and in terms of gameplay. And I know that's a really unpopular opinion, although I think people have kind of come around on Final Fantasy VIII. People used to hate it, but I think more questionable Square Enix games have come out since then, and people are a little more lenient on 8 now. But I always liked it. I liked it more than 7. I liked it more than 9. It's my favorite Final Fantasy game. Specifically, I love the early parts of the game the most. Like the ridiculous seed missions that you go on early on. I just love them. That train mission. Oh, oh man, the assassination. The most convoluted, nonsensical, dumb mission ever. Like, oh, I love it. I love it. Which, if you really think about it, why did they drop the gate on the sorceress in 8 when they were trying to assassinate her? Like, no, really, stop and think about it. Like, the whole reason that it doesn't work is because they drop the gate on her, and then she gets up and she's like, oh, what's going on? So she's on guard, right? And she has like a force field on her that she puts up. And like if they just didn't drop the gates on her to make her aware that someone is trying to assassinate her, like if they just put a bullet in the back of her head without a big fanfare about it, like, game could have been over right there. But yeah, look, I love it. I know it's a backup, but if you think about it, like it's a sorcerer, it's a wizard, right? Like you should assume that they have some sort of reality bending powers they can probably make a force field, right? That's something wizards do. So why make them aware that something is going on? It doesn't make sense, but that's Final Fantasy VIII, and I love it. Look, if we're being fair, if you really think about the plot to most Final Fantasy games, I don't think that many of them really make sense. If we're being really fair, none of them make sense, but it's fun, right? Just have fun with it. Though, one of these days, I really do need to go back and try to finish FF15. I actually thought 15 was better than 13, but I beat 13, I didn't beat 15. I should really give it another chance sometime. It wasn't terrible. At least it wasn't a hallway, right? At least it wasn't a hallway. Alright, so, okay. We can still banter if anybody still wants to hang around for it. But I think I've done enough with Final Fantasy XI for the day. So since we're just kind of ranting about whatever, I was gonna switch over to maybe City of Heroes. I'm torn between that or Turtle WoW, but I'm feeling in the questionable hero mood. So I was gonna do that for maybe an hour or so, and that'll be the rest of the stream. But can still banter about whatever. But for anyone who is only here for the exciting, fast-paced, breakneck Final Fantasy XI action, anyone who's here for just that, I hope you had a fun time with it. But I've been playing it for many hours, so we're gonna switch games to something else. Alright?